Manchester United have just drawn 2-2 in the Premier League against Liverpool. What a game of football. This is much more like it. But before I get into my reaction, please do me a small favour. Make sure to smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and also in the comment section, let me know your thoughts on today's game. Now, I want to say this from the off. Hats off to the players. It was awful conditions, terrible weather. Obviously, there's been snow. Playing against, at the moment, the best team in the Premier League in Liverpool, who have only lost one game all season, absolutely flying at the top. Salah on fire, Gakpo on fire. They've been incredible this season. I know we don't like Liverpool here, but we can obviously acknowledge that they have been the best team in the Premier League this season. Now, Manchester United came there. They didn't park the bus. They were playing on the front foot. And for, I would say, 90% of that game were the better team. Harry Maguire missed an open goal. Should have 100% been a goal. He skied it, didn't he? There was a couple of other opportunities where we should have scored as well. And I think if you actually look at the chances that were missed across today's game, I think the Man United players will come away from Anfield today feeling happy, but also feeling like they should have got more because we were the better team. There were lots of quality performances. I thought Manuel Ugarte was absolutely phenomenal today. I thought Bruno Fernandes was absolutely phenomenal today as well. And, if you think about the goals that they got a penalty, which I think was dodgy. Yes, it hit his hand, but what was he supposed to do with his arm? There's clips going around on social media of the same referee last season. Garnacho kicks the ball against, I think it's Romero for Tottenham's arm, and they don't give a penalty. Exactly the same as the De Ligt situation today. And the same referee, Michael Oliver, awarded a penalty. Of course he did. We all knew that something bad was going to go away when it's Michael Oliver in control. But the dodgy refereeing couldn't stop Manchester United today. We have gone and beaten Liverpool. And I know people will be like, oh, this is how low you've fallen, that you're celebrating a draw against Liverpool. You're playing against Liverpool at Anfield in terrible weather conditions, 14th in the Premier League with, I think, one win in the last 5 games? Of course I'm going to be happy with that. I think Ruben Amorim comes away from that match today with his head held high. Obviously, it doesn't make a massive difference in relation to our position in the Premier League, but let's all be clear here. We're not going to get top 4. It's just not going to happen. We're up to 13th now. Wow, amazing. We're up to 13th in the Premier League. We're currently 13 points off top 4. We're not getting top 4. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Maybe top 10. Top 10 is definitely still possible, to be fair. I'm being a bit cynical here. We're only 7 points off top 10. But still, even that, 7 points is a lot to make up if you think about it. But we have to just think of this season as a bit of an experiment. And I know some people don't like that. Some people feel like Ineos have thrown this season away. But the fact of the matter is, we are where we are. Ruben Amorim is making progress. And we know that for almost a fact that probably 80-90% of these players will probably not be here in 2 or 3 years, bar maybe a couple, Lenny Yoro, Manuel Ugarte, Amad Diallo. But most of them probably will be leaving in the next couple of windows when you think about it, right? Positive times are on the horizon. We've got a very, very long way to go. Obviously, as I said, in the grand scheme of things, a point against Liverpool doesn't really help our league position that much. We've moved from 14th to 13th. We're still, so far away from the top 4. I get all of that. But I think each game we just have to take it by performance. And today the performance was much better. And as I said, I honestly think that we had the better chances to win that game. And I know some people will say, what are you talking about? Liverpool were better, but I don't think so. I think we did have the better chances. But if I'm going to be completely honest, coming away with a draw probably is the fairest result, Obviously, the penalty I thought was questionable. But other than that, when you look at the stats, it was 50-50, which is rare. When was the last time we went to Liverpool and had 50% of the ball? I know Erik ten Hag went there last season, didn't he? And we managed to get a draw. But I remember that game, it was absolutely woeful, wasn't it? Do you remember this time last season, Liverpool versus Man United, 0-0, and it was one of the worst games of football I think I've ever seen in my life. I'm just having a look back. It was almost literally a year ago. That game, right? Let's just let this sink in for a minute. 1 year ago today, almost to the day, we played Liverpool at Anfield and it was 0-0. That day, Liverpool had 34 shots. We had 6. That day, Liverpool had 70% of the possession. We had 30. And that was with a manager, Erik ten Hag, who'd been here for 3 years, had £600 million worth of his players, and we just about desperately managed to scrape a 0-0 draw. But the stats were completely against us. We didn't deserve a point in that game. Today, we went to Anfield, 50% possession. Liverpool had 50%. I think we had the better chances, scored 2 goals. you have to come away from that happy. Yes, it's not the 3 points, but a point at Anfield is never a bad result, realistically, at the end of the day. So I'm happy. Obviously, we can build on from this. The next kind of 2 or 3 fixtures are a little bit more favourable for us. Obviously, we play Arsenal in the Emirates. That's for the FA Cup. But I mean, after how we played today, if we play like how we did today against Arsenal, I think we could potentially get a result. And obviously, with it being a knockout competition, if we do draw, I think then there'll be a replay at Old Trafford. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if that's 100% correct, but I think that's still how it works in the FA Cup. But in relation to the Premier League, I think the next few fixtures are a little bit easier for us. I mean, no game is easy, obviously, but we've got Southampton at home next, which, I mean, you have to win. And then you've got Brighton. Then you've got Fulham away, which, okay, is maybe not the easiest. And then after that, you've got Crystal Palace at home. So, I mean, if you look at those next 4 fixtures, hopefully, let's hope and pray that this is a building block for the rest of the season. And I know we seem to have this conversation. We had this conversation after Man City. We were sat here saying, amazing, building block, let's grow from here. And then we went and lost 3-0 to Bournemouth, 2-0 to Wolves and 2-0 to Newcastle. And we're like, how the hell has this happened? We've gone to the Etihad and beaten Man City. We've gone to Liverpool and given them a good game, arguably should have won. But can we build on this in the next kind of 2 or 3 fixtures? That's the big question. And that will dictate how the rest of our season goes. But for me personally, my kind of goal at the beginning of the season was always to win the Europa League. I think that would be a natural progression for this squad of players. Obviously getting the League Cup 2 years ago, the FA Cup last season, and then if we were to win a European trophy this year, yes, it's not the Champions League, but it's still a trophy worth having. And it would then mean that we obviously get qualification for the Champions League. So for me personally, I think that is probably the target now. Obviously, we're out of the Carabao Cup. Maybe we beat Arsenal in the FA Cup and that could be an option. But being completely realistic, we're obviously not going to win the Premier League. We're not able to win the League Cup because we're not in it. And we'll probably be knocked out of the FA Cup by Arsenal. So, if we can just really, really focus now on the Europa League, obviously we've got 2 more fixtures in that competition. We play Rangers, I think it's in a couple of weeks' time. And then we play FCSB. If we win both those games, we'll definitely go through in the top 8, which will mean we'll go straight through into the round of 16, which is obviously much more favourable because it means we won't have to play an extra knockout game. So, when you look at it like that, right, if you're in the round of 16, you play home and away in the round of 16, home and away in the last 8, home and away in the semi-final. So it's effectively 6 games in the Europa League to the final, which isn't that much, is it? 6 individual games. Obviously, yes, half of them are at home and half of them are away, but I think that has to be our target. And when you look at the teams that are left in the Europa League, obviously it might change. Like, I know there's still a couple of games left in the group stage, but, if you look at the top teams, it's Lazio, Anderlecht, Lyon, Frankfurt, Galatasaray, Rangers. And I think, even with this squad of players, we should be able to beat most of those teams on our day. If we play like we did today, obviously, if we play like we did against Bournemouth, then we could lose against any of those teams. But it's all about building from here. And Bruno Fernandes has, interestingly enough, just done an interview with Sky Sports after the game, and he said the following. Bruno said, "We can't be satisfied with this. I am pretty upset." He says, "If we can show this at Anfield, why can't we do this every week? We need to be aware that we need much more from ourselves." And I mean, I like these types of comments because, it'd be easy for the players to come out and say, "Oh yeah, great point against Liverpool, blah, blah, blah." Like, no. Why are they able to do this against Liverpool, do this against Man City, both away from home, against 2 of the best teams in Europe, and then you get slapped 3-0 at home against Bournemouth? I mean, it's not okay. But hopefully, things start to change, things start to go our way, and we can build from here. But I mean, obviously, I'm happy. 2-0, not the end of the world. 1 point in the bag. I'm going to go away from this feeling pretty happy. But I'd love to know what you guys think about this game. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. In relation to individual player performances, let's go through that really, really quickly. And just to say as well, right, Liverpool have just won the last 4 Premier League games in a row before today. So 5-0 against West Ham, 3-1 against Leicester, 6-3 against Tottenham. They are on fire at the moment, and we were winless before this for 4 games. So it's a massive result. But in relation to individual performances, I won't spend too much time on this because let's have a little look. So I thought Onana was okay, nothing special. Martinez had a really good game today. Warrior, obviously a lovely goal he got. Dalot, I thought, was a little bit better today. Gave Trent quite a hard time. Mainu, I thought, was good. Bruno was decent. Dalot was good. Diallo was good. Mazraoui, decent. Ugarte, decent. everybody was good, I thought. Højlund was a little bit quiet as usual, but are we really surprised? So yeah, I mean, overall, I think all the players tried, and that's the bare minimum we can ask for. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Please make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. This is Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye for now.